Ben says, I don't really care about over rates, but I care about overs lost. How do we fix the lost overs? It always strikes me as odd when we finish at half six in glorious cricket weather. Why not continue playing till the overs are done and the umpires decide the conditions are unfair? Look, it's fair. I understand this. The overrate one is an interesting one from my perspective. I don't pay for tickets anymore, right? So I don't feel personally ripped off. But you talk to a lot of fans, and there are some fans who absolutely. I know there's this thought that overrates is sometimes a myth by the media. It's not a myth by the media. A lot of fans will complain about it. When we did polite inquiries, I would say every day we had an overrates question. It was that common. So I do think the fans do are concerned about it, but I think there is also that point of um, we some people will just say if the cricket's good, it doesn't matter. And I think all these things are very fair. So whether you're pro overrates or anti overrates, I would say that the biggest myth with overrates is that it's just the bowling team's job. I think we now know that that's just not true, and it doesn't really make that much sense when you look at it from that perspective. So I th- I believe we'll eventually get to the point where we have a pitch clock. But the reason that baseball got to a pitch clock or a shot clock, you know, situation is because baseball got to the point where it was slowed down so much that the actual game, the fans were turning away from it because of the speed at which the game was being played. I'm not sure we're at that point in cricket at the moment. And I actually think in some cases, like the IPL, I kind of feel like the IPL want the games to go longer. That's an extra hour, 45 minutes of content from that perspective. So I think it would have to be that we get to a point where we worry we worry about the speed of the game when it comes to over rates and whether it's actually turning off casual fans. Which, to be fair, there's a fair argument for that already. If you look at what was going on with the 100, that was one of the big things that the 100 found out in their research. But I'm not sure it's enough at the moment. As for the lost overs idea, look, I get it. I don't have a problem. And in some ways, if you were to say to teams, well, you're going to have to bowl your overs regardless, as long as the conditions are, in the batter's favor, or, the light is in the batter's favor. Wouldn't we then have a situation where the bowlers would suddenly realize that you might have an extra hour tacked on? The one thing I would say to your comment there, though, Ben, is that is really only a case in a couple of countries. A lot of countries, there's no way you could tack on any light at all. Sorry, at the end of the day, I'm trying to think of maybe somewhere like Brisbane, I want to say, somewhere where it gets dark very early. Pakistan, I think, is another one. Is it Sri Lanka might be another one as well? There, certain venues certainly that have these issues. So it's something that works in England because you get light a lot longer. I'm not sure it would work everywhere, but I understand why you've come up with it.